Survivor Series 1988, if you saw my review of 87, I wasn't the biggest fan of the 87 one. Really, the only one I liked was the one with Macho Man, Jake the Snake, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So we get to 1988, 88, which took place in Ohio. 10-man Survivor Series match between... Oh, that was the main event. Yeah, the Mega Powers versus the sadly named Twin Towers, but this is 1988. You can't be mad at them for, this is 1988. And once again, like Survivor Series, it's not like if one beats the other, all of a sudden the match is over. It's if there's 5 guys, all 5 guys have to be beat for the match to be over in some way, shape, or form. And, whoever is left from not being beat, they're the survivors. And like the first one, there's 4 matches. 1988. You only have a couple interviews, like Bad News Brown, Powers of Pain, which Powers of Pain was 2 guys who were later on, maybe Legion of Doom. I don't know if they were in other territories at this time, but if not, then I'm wrong. But if so, I swear Powers of Pain was, they looked at Legion of Doom in other territories, well, Hawk and Animal, and they said, you know what, let's steal that and put in these guys' Powers of Pain. Because one has a hair mohawk just like Hawk, just like Animal. And then the other has like hair here but no hair here like Hawk. And then they have like paint on their face. And I'm like, and I know you have a Demolition. Demolition to me, I didn't think of as Legion of Doom ripoff. I think of Kiss, because they look like they had Kiss makeup. And of course they had that song. This is the axe. Walking this. I can't do the song right, shit. You are the axe. I am the smasher. I can't do it right. If you look it up, I'm sure. I didn't mind the song. Walking disaster. But Powers of Pain, these guys seem like Legion of Doom ripoffs. And I know they later on go on in their separate ways. One would be the Barbarian, and one would be the Warlord, which I didn't see much of the Barbarian. I think he's in some of the Royal Rumbles, but in the Survivor Series, I didn't see him at all. Warlord, I saw him. He was like a big guy. Kind of looked like if Stone Cold Steve Austin had a lot of muscle. He had that look. And then when he got to the ring, he had like a mask on, like a silver metal mask. It had like a wand that had a W on it for Warlord. I mean, it's like, okay. Yeah, he didn't last long. There's not much to him, just another, big guy. But this you have 4 matches once again. In one team you have the Ultimate Warrior, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Sam Houston, which I'm like, who the fuck is Sam Houston? Guess another Texan guy. Yeah, he was pretty much a Texan guy. Half-brother of Jake the Snake Roberts. Didn't know much about him. Still don't know much about him. I don't know if he lasts long. The Blue Blazer, which, looking up, I'm like, oh, it's fucking Owen Hart. Like, this was Owen Hart before, well, before he just became Owen Hart, and, of course, before what sadly passed away in the tragic accident he had. But, yeah, he wore like a mask, a blue mask, and he was known as the Blue Blazer. I'm like, oh shit, it's Owen Hart. And then some guy named Jim Brunzel, and again, I'm like, who the fuck is Jim Brunzel? Like, I still don't know who the hell Jim Brunzel is. I don't even fucking remember him. I think he was one of the Killer Bees, I guess. But he's like one of those guys that, I don't know who the fuck it is. I mean, they face off against the Honky Tonk Man, Ron Bass, Danny Davis, that's that bad guy referee guy who wrestled, Grade the Hammer Valentine, and Bad News Brown. And for this one, I can only say the only reason I liked any of it was I liked the Ultimate Warrior. I know he's not, a lot of people are not big fans of him. When I did my top 10, I was talking about how I had a couple people, I had at least like 9. Ultimate Warrior would be the number 10. Well, not number 10, but he'd be part of the top 10. Like, I know Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ultimate Warrior would be on there, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, a few others that I listed. Ultimate Warrior would be on that list. That's the one guy I didn't mention on there. But yeah, no, he's not the most technical wrestler, and his promos are crazy. But I just enjoyed his energy, and I enjoy his look, his music, and I just enjoyed his power moves. Even if he didn't do them the best, it just looked like his power moves hurt, maybe because they really did. But I don't know, I just enjoyed the Ultimate Warrior. And I didn't grow up with him. I grew up with Hulk Hogan. But Ultimate Warrior, like, I've watched like recently, and I like him. I know he's getting the Hall of Fame, which I'm fine with. And I did see Self-Destruction Ultimate Warrior, and then people say, well, most of that's bullshit, and most of it's true, most of it's bullshit, whatever. Same strokes, different folks. One will say another, and never know the whole truth. But anyway, again, the only thing I really liked was I don't mind Bruce the Barber Beefcake. I don't mind him as a character. He's a guy who was really good friends with Hulk Hogan in real life. And he's a guy that a lot of times he would cut people's hair, hence he was Bruce the Barber Beefcake. Ultimate Warrior I liked, and really that was about it. I mean, the referee guy, Danny Davis, I think he got eliminated really quickly, as he should. Bad News Brown, this guy, I don't think he was in WWF long. And again, this is a guy that it took me until like one of the, I can't remember, it was maybe one of the Summer Slams or was it Survivor Series? Let me see. Yeah, SummerSlam 88. Because I'm watching Survivor Series, and maybe other ones he's won, but I'm like, this guy always loses. And that when I started SummerSlam, I'm like, 80. I'm like, holy shit, he actually won a match. And I don't mean like he takes a guy out in a Survivor Series, but I swear, in this one and in another one, I swear in this one, and I know there's another one that happened. I can't remember which one. It would be like the same thing where someone on his own team would hit him on accident. I think it was the year after, 89. This is the year after 89. Big Boss Man or someone accidentally hits him here. It was, who accidentally hit him? I think Grade the Hammer Valentine accidentally hits him. Again, 2 years in a row, it's someone accidentally hits him, and so he says, fuck you, and walks out. And that's how he loses. So he's one of those guys that never loses clean, kind of like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. But Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he's not much of a wrestler. He's more of a brawler. But he's always patriotic. Oh, USA. But he's a colorful character at most, and the people are behind him. Banders Brown, there's really nothing to him. I mean, his finishing move is a ghetto blaster, which is if a guy's facing this way and this is the back of his head, pretty much he takes his 2 feet, he does like this to the back of the guy's head. So he does like a sweeping motion to the back of the guy's head. That's a ghetto blaster. But he would never lose clean. And again, watching the Survivor Series and SummerSlam so far, I saw him won one match, really. One match. So again, this and the year after in Survivor Series, same thing. Someone on his own team accidentally hits him. He says, fuck it, and walks out. And he gets counted out. And I'm like, okay, so not much for him. Greg the Hammer Valentine, he's one of those guys that I don't understand why. What's the big deal with this guy? This guy seems boring. He seems no personality. Even wrestling moves, I can't remember any specific wrestling moves he has. He really is one of those in one year out the other type of wrestlers, but he's in the Hall of Fame and lists of 50 greatest wrestlers of all time, and I'm like, why this guy? He's just one of those guys that I don't really get the appeal, I guess. I thought they could have used like Owen Hart, even though he's the Blue Blazer, they could have used him a bit more because he's sort of a high flying type of guy. He could do moves. It's more interesting than some of these guys you have out there. Bruce the Bar Beefcake and Honky Tonk Man, they both get counted out. So pretty much it's this guy like Ron Bass and Craig Valentine versus the Ultimate Warrior. And okay, cool. Ultimate Warrior, he beats these two guys. And granted, he beats these two guys, but I don't think he beats them with his finishing move, which is like, he does. I really like the shoulder, sort of the fuck you shoulder hit that he does. Because I know a lot of people do it, but when he does it, the people like fly out of the ring, like it's like the fuck you shoulder hit, like flying shoulder hit. I'm sure there's another word for it, but he doesn't do that. I don't remember. Maybe he did it before. I can't remember because watching all these in a row, they kind of blend together. He just does a double axe handle, which is pretty much like this. He hits one guy, and then that knocks him out. He hits one guy, and knocks him out. And I'm like, not even the finishing move? I would at least do that, but hey, maybe I buy a bit more because it's the Ultimate Warrior. The guy is a pretty big, strong guy. And I like the Ultimate Warrior, so he's the last survivor, and I think that's really the only reason I liked it, because I liked the Ultimate Warrior, and I liked that he was the last one standing, so, shows the Ultimate Warrior was pretty strong and stuff, so, alright then. The second one, what was the second one? It was it Demolition? What the hell was it? Los Conquistadors? Which I don't know who the fuck they are. Uno and Dos. That was the name of the Conquistadors. Uno and Dos. Jesus. But it was the Powers of Pain, the Rockers, which was Shawn Michaels. He was on a tag team before called the Rockers. Him and Mark Jannetty, who were good. Although it seems like for some reason a lot of these matches they make them lose. I mean, at least watching the Survivor Series and SummerSlam so far, maybe it's a different story with Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, but a lot of these Survivors, the Rockers are really good. Like Shawn Michaels, Mark Jannetty, they're high flying, a lot of very impressive moves. Like they do this when someone's doing a hip toss, they reverse it, and I swear, like in midair, they take the arm and in midair they do like a little flip. I don't know how to describe it. It's just really cool looking to reverse a hip toss. Like they grab the arm and they like twirl around in midair and land. It's really cool looking. Like I think these are really good, a really good tag team, but for some reason they're like holding them back. It seemed like I'm sure if I look it up, I should look it up to see if they ever won a championship. They should, and if so, they didn't show it here. Trying to think. Not think. I'm trying to read to see, because they broke up. Can't remember. I think '92 was their last time, and I don't know if they ever won a championship, and if not, that's pretty fucking shitty. Because again, they were a really good tag team. I can't remember. It'll take too long just going for it. As far as I know, they didn't win a championship. If they did, I'm wrong. But they were one of the best tag teams, and they didn't do much with them because a lot of times they lost. And this was, I remember it being the longest match of this pay-per-view, like 40 minutes or something. And it was the Powers of Pain, who later became the Warlord and the Barbarian. Sort of, in my opinion, the Legion of Doom ripoff. The Rockers, who I think is one of the better tag teams. The British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation, and the Young Stallions. I'm like, okay, you got the Hart Foundation and the Rockers, and British Bulldog and his partner Dynamite Kid in there. Okay. And they face off against Demolition, the Brainbusters, which one of them was Arn Anderson. That name rings a bell for people out there. I know he was associated with Ric Flair, especially in WCW. The Bolsheviks, who were just, the Russian guys. Fabulous Rougeaus, and the Conquistadors, Uno and Dos. And the one with the Rockers and stuff, That team won, but the only ones who survived were the Powers of Pain. Because they did the stupid thing like the Rockers and the Brainbusters. They got DQ'd, double DQ'd after brawling in the ring. Which sometimes when they do this shit, it doesn't make sense because the two guys who are illegal, they're brawling, but yet they get kicked out too. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. These two are supposed to be. You're kicking them out because they're fighting wrestling when they're supposed to be wrestling? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, why are you kicking out the people who are the legal people when they're supposed to be in there? Why are they getting disqualified? Sometimes, the rules are really wishy-washy. Like, even like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate, they'll do stuff, and you're like, well, how come referee doesn't disqualify them? Because that's not in the script. Like, Ultimate Warrior, like, uses a belt on Rick Rude on one of the things. I'm like, shouldn't it be a disqualification? And like Hulk Hogan does something like, wait a minute, isn't that disqualification? But yeah, it's not in the script. So, you get some of that stuff, but I'm like, oh, that's pretty lame. And the Powers of Pain, I don't know. This is like an up to you if you want to watch it. I don't know. When you get that many people involved, it just over 40 minutes, it gets tiring after a while. I don't know what it is. The next one is Andre the Giant, Rick Rude, Dino Bravo. Again, makes me think of Flintstones character. Mr. Perfect and Harley Race versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Scott Casey, Ken Patera, and Tito Santana. And this is one of those matches I didn't care for. I mean, it's either like, who the fuck is Scott Casey? I don't know who the fuck Scott Casey is. Ken Patera, he's you know, Kurt Angle is a better version of Ken Patera. Just a really boring guy. Andre the Giant is one of those things Andre the Giant said, and they don't have him do much. Just he comes in like once in a while and does a little thing and just is waiting there pretty much the whole time. Hassel Jim Duggan once again. In the previous one, I think it was like a count out. That's how he lost here. It's a DQ. So he never... Is that many times... Well, maybe he does win in other stuff, but he wins in a couple, but not too many. He never loses clean. It's always pinfall after... I mean, not pinfall, but he disqualifies himself because he used like a 2x4 on a guy, or he gets counted out, and it's sort of like same shit, different day. I mean, if that's the... whatever. Jay Roberts, at least Jake the Snake gets used to DDT. And I think because I didn't care for the ending, because at that time, Jake the Snake, pretty much his buddies were useless. His buddies were absolutely fucking useless, because they all got taken out pretty quickly. Well, not quickly, but they got taken out, so it was Jake the Snake by himself against, like, Mr. Perfect, Dino Bravo, and Andre the Giant. So... And the only one that got taken out was from Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake Roberts is the only guy to take out someone. Like, well, maybe not. Maybe Harley Race. I think Tio Santana got Harley Race, who kind of an older guy there. He was the guy that got counted out in the last one. And here, Tio Santana took out one, but Jake the Snake took out the other. And there were still 3 guys. Yeah, it was 5-on-5. So Jake the Snake is now versus 3 guys, and pretty much what happens at the ending, which kind of hurt the match for me, was Andre the Giant comes in for one of the few things he can do, chokes Jake out, won't let go, so Andre gets DQ'd. Then when Andre's leaving, he gives like a headbutt. Jake the Snake falls to the ground, and Mr. Perfect just walks in, covers him, boom, wins. So Mr. Perfect, Dino Bravo win. And I'm like, I just thought it was a lame ending. It's just pretty lame ending. It's like, oh, that's a rip-off ending. Just Andre chose the shit out of him, gives him a headbutt, gets disqualified, and Jake the Snake can't do anything, so he gets beaten. I'm like, oh, I just didn't care for the ending. I mean, so really, so far, I didn't like the previous one. The first match was the only one I really cared about so far. In '87, because it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Macho Man, and Jake the Snake. Here, it was Ultimate Warrior. And, the second, third one didn't really care for too much. And then the fourth one, it was, I know Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Coco Beware, and Hercules versus Big Boss Man, Akeem, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, Teen Hot Crew, and the Red Rooster. So, it was 5-on-5. So again, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Coco Beware, Hercules, and Hillbilly Jim versus Big Boss Man, Akeem, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, Teen Hot Crew, and the Red Rooster. And Big Boss Man and Akeem, those were the guys who were calling themselves the Twin Towers. Because they were big guys. And again, you can't fault, it's not like they knew years later there'd be, 9/11 and such. So you can't fault them for that. And this one, the only thing I could really give a shit is, honestly, just because of Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. That's really the case. But other than that, I mean, first off, like, this Red Rooster guy, like, who the fuck is this guy? I mean, this is a guy, why is he in this match? He's the first one to get beat, of course. Maybe that's why. They need someone to beat, for Macho Man to beat, which is glad. You got to do his flying elbow, that's cool. But the Red Rooster, like, literally, he has the speck of hair that speck of hair that's red, like a rooster, because he's the Red Rooster. And I'm like, that is so fucking stupid. Like, oh, let's give this red speck of hair. And I'm like, and then the guy had really nothing to him. It just, Hillbilly Jim, the only, for me, he's most famous for being on that Hulk Hogan cartoon. But I don't know what he really did wrestling-wise. Coco Beware, did Coco Beware ever win, like on like on a pay-per-view? Because I swear, every time I've seen this guy, he loses. Maybe if I looked on YouTube, maybe there's some jobber. Jobber, for those who don't know, the wrestlers who are hired to get beaten. The wrestlers, and their main job is to get beaten and to have the other guy look good. So, Coco Beware is like, I swear he's like one of the most famous jobbers because he just always loses. Right? When I mentioned Coco Beware, he always loses. When the first Raw episode, I think the first match was Coco Beware versus, I think, I want to say it was Yokozuna. So of course Yokozuna beats Coco Beware. And isn't there a match where he's versus Big Boss Man or something? Yeah, and of course Big Boss Man beats Coco Beware. And I don't know, maybe, isn't he in the first WrestleMania and he even lost in that? I mean, have to look. Sorry, I gotta look real quick on this thing. No, maybe he wasn't in the first WrestleMania. Okay, am I thinking of the second one? Because I know I remember watching one of those a while ago, and fuck it, I can't remember. I don't know. But it seems like anytime I see this guy, he just loses. And of course, he lost here too, from the Big Boss Man. And like Big Boss Man and Akeem, these two big guys, they pretty much just they get counted out or they get DQ'd because they take Hulk Hogan, they handcuff him, so that Haku can beat the shit out of, uh, well, Akeem and Haku were beating the shit out of Macho Man, and then Big Boss Man handcuffed Hulk Hogan so he couldn't get to his partner, and then Big Boss Man got counted out, and Akeem got disqualified, so that was kind of lame. Hulk Hogan finally got out of it, and he got the win. He got the pin drop, the he got the pinfall, and it was just really one of those things like Macho Man is doing all that he can, getting the shit beat out of him, getting the shit beat out of him, doing all he can, and then here's Hulk Hogan. He gets out of it. He does like two things: a leg drop, and then he wins, and he gets all the glory. And I'm like, what about Macho Man? I mean, can Macho Man get some of the glory? Yeah. So it was one of those things that I don't know. I look at it and go. I mean, Macho Man. Okay, he beat a guy named Red Rooster. He beat the $1 Million Man because he like rolled him up real quick, like when another because one of his teammates got pinned and $1 Million Man was celebrating and Macho Man came up behind him and rolled him up to beat him. But it's just the two big guys, Big Boss Man team, they get counted out, disqualified, they leave. Then Macho Man's getting the shit kicked out and shit kicked out of him. Then Hulk Hogan, I think Miss Elizabeth gets the key to get him out, and then gets Tad, and he does like three things, leg drop, and then he gets the glory. And I'm like, part of me, I understand storytelling wise, but at the same time, I would have liked if Macho Man got a little bit more glory. Like if both of them maybe did it, like if Hulk Hogan did a leg drop and then Macho Man does his flying elbow or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that one I just was okay at best because what Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan was okay at best. And I like the first one because Ultimate Warrior. The other two I didn't care for. One because most of them I didn't care for, and like the Rockers to get disqualified at the Brawling Ring, which some of them like why? Because two of them are the legal guys, from what I remember. And then I don't know, I just some of the other guys I didn't care for, and then this one, the one with Jake the Snake, I'm like, really didn't care for the ending. The ending I think really killed it. And then again, like who the fuck is Ken Patera? Who the fuck is Scott Casey? Harley Race I don't care about. Tito Santana, why does this guy in so many stuff? Because there's nothing to him. There's really nothing to Tito Santana. I mean, you got the flying forearm, which I thought Lex Luger did that, but no, he had like his character had something implanted, metal, and then later on he do that backbreaker thing or that submission thing. That was Lex Luger. Tito Santana, I don't know, he's not awful, but he's there. Of course, Jim Duggan gets disqualified. He's either counter or disqualified. I mean, once in a while he wins, once in a while, but usually it's that. I don't know, just maybe because I like Jake the Snake as well, and didn't want to see him lose in kind of a lame way, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I like the first one because Ultimate Warrior. The last one was okay because of Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, but Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse Ventura doing commentary. Jesse Ventura, I think they do a good job commentary-wise. It was what it was. I mean, it was kind of like the first one. I didn't hate them, but and the first one, really the first one, there's probably maybe one match. The first one, this one, I didn't mind the first match, and the last match with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man was okay, but I just when you have four matches, and one was so because I liked the two Japanese jumping bomb angels, and the first one was okay. Then 88, again the last one was okay, and the first one I liked, and the first one of the 87 I liked. So really enough, so far in the 2 years, I've liked 87 and 88. Really enough. I like the first match, and that's like my favorite match of the night on both 87, 88. But anyway, God, 30 minutes. I can't believe it go on so long. But anyway, uh, yeah, if you want me to keep going, well, I think by now I'll have my answer, so you'll see more coming up shortly. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.